guys? It's BlastphamousHD, aka Tyrone Couple, and today we are here with 100% legitimate and authentic proof that YNW Melly, even though he is guilty as all living sin itself, is more than likely going to be getting out of jail so he can drop another album. I present to you how YNW Melly got away with it. More than 11.
The YNW Melly case is a weird one. As some of you may know, 5 years ago today, he was locked up for two of his best friends. Now, the evidence against him is astonishing, but he's gonna get away with it. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, if he's gonna get away with it, then why is he still in jail? Yes, he is still in jail, by the way. Well, because YNW Melly had a problem. The police also know he's gonna get away with it, so they decided, why don't we just keep him for as long as we can? And it all started way back when YNW Melly was about 16. He didn't like some of his classmates, so he at them. The police arrest him, but it's only for a year because he's still 16. Now, why I mention this is because when you're on the police's list, it's hard to get off. He gets out on probation, which basically means a judge can send you back to jail if you do something that they don't like. He goes back to jail. YNW Melly said, why? The judge said, you rapping now, huh? He said, yuh. The judge said, well, I don't like your songs. And this is where things take a turn. See, YNW Melly was making music and he was popping off. Because frankly, to be honest, YNW Melly does have a gift for music. His first few songs are already hitting charts. But this was a bad thing because again, he caught the attention of his judge. His judge said, you talk about in your songs, I'm sending you back. Which brings back the whole debate of should rap lyrics be used in the court of law. A lot of states refuse to use rap lyrics or music in general in the court of law because it can be discriminatory. Well, it is discriminatory. Because of the neighborhoods rap music tends to come from, certain things will be rapped about. And those things, well, usually are illegal. And courts usually use the lyrics to say, this person is bad, so send them to jail. So same thing happens to YNW Melly, and if you're keeping track, this is the second time he's in jail. But this time he has a big buzz behind him. So everyone's saying, free him, you're locking him up because of rap lyrics. The court's like, damn. So they let him go. And then they arrest him again for having on him. And like I told you before, when you're on the police's list, it's hard to get off. But they let him go again because at this point he has good lawyers, he has a record label, they don't want their star to, be in jail. They want to make money. And it's at this point he's free to go, he gets out for the third time, it's time to be a star. Until the fourth time he gets arrested. But this time things are a little more serious. See, he finishes recording a song with Kanye West called Mixed Personalities. The song becomes huge. It's Kanye West. Well, 2019, 2020 Kanye West. He's flying. People listening to his original songs, they saying, damn, them boys snapping. YNW Melly like, yeah. The police go, yeah, you think you can rap about whatever you want now? You think you bad? YNW Melly said, like Michael Jackson. YNW Melly's lawyers slide in and go, hee hee. Now turn around, you ain't never arresting him again unless he makes a colossal mistake. He makes a colossal mistake. See, I forgot to tell you something. While YNW Melly is rising, I'm just gonna call him Melly from now on. While Melly is rising, he's also rising with 3 other people in his YNW crew. All his best friends. There's Sack Chaser, there's Juvie, and there's Bortland. And they make music too. But one day, Bortland pulls up to the hospital and says, oh my gosh, they just 2 of my friends, Sack Chaser and Juvie. Melly's not there. The police show up and go, wait a second, ain't this the YNW crew? Where Melly at? Bortland goes, I don't know. The police are like, that's a little suspicious, but tell us what happened. So according to Bortland, they were driving around and suddenly some dudes start at them. Since Sack Chaser and Juvie were on the right side of the car, I need you to listen closely. They were the ones that were Melly and Bortland were on the left side of the car. Now at this point is the obvious question. Okay, so where is Melly? The police had the same question. So they call up Sack Chaser and Juvie's roommate. They say, yo, where's Melly? Do you know? The roommate goes, no, actually I don't. The police go, okay, well, we found out that you were there. The roommate goes, oh yeah. But he still says he doesn't know where Melly was because Melly got in a separate car from his friends. The police say, okay, bet. They get surveillance footage of the last time all the YNW members were together and alive, and they all walk into the same car. Melly walks in as well. In those positions, remember, Sack Chaser Juvie on the right, Melly and Bortland on the left. The police look at the roommate and they go, well, he was in the same car. The roommate goes, oh yeah! So at this point, the police were like, okay, people are lying, something's going on. And this is how police investigations usually go. The more evidence you start finding, the more liberties you're granted by the state. Let me explain. They couldn't just walk over to Melly and say, you're suspicious, we're gonna arrest you, especially since he has pretty good lawyers, so they need to get the courts on their side. They say, okay, Melly was in the car with them, everybody's lying about it. Now, let's track their phone. So they track Melly's phone at the time his friends got. And remember I told you Melly's friend Bortland said they drove around, they got and they went to the hospital. Well, he missed a couple steps. See, they drove around past the hospital and went into the woods. Well, it wasn't the woods, but it was like a deserted area. Remember, they're tracking Melly's phone. He's with the rest of the YNW members. The phone tracking then shows them drive back from the secluded area, dropping Melly off, and then driving to the hospital. It's kind of looking like he did it, right? Well, here's the thing about court cases. You always need more. So they went to the area they claimed they got at. Everybody's like, I didn't hear nothing. They got a canine to look around for shell casings. The canine's like, I ain't seen nothing. So they drive to the secluded area. They said, canine, you see something? He said, oh, I see something. The canine found shell casings and they matched what? Melly's friends. Let's take it a step further. They then do science stuff and figure out the came from inside the car. And trust me when I say, when it comes to ballistics, that evidence is pretty solid. They also said a drive-by did not happen. They even went as far as to track the fatal wounds, and they both came from the left side of the car. Remember, they said a drive-by happened from the right side. Well, all that being said, how could he possibly get away with this? Well, wait, I'm gonna tell you. Remember when I told you they were his best friends? Well, he was so close to them that he had their names tattooed on his face while they were alive. They've known each other since kindergarten. So people were like, well, why'd he do it? And this is called motive. A motive is very important when it comes to court cases. You gotta know why somebody would do something, or at a certain point, it's just, we can make anything up, right? The police were like, well, have you heard his lyrics? People were like, we need a reason why he might have done it. The police were like, that's a good question. So they bring Melly in. They say, Mr. Demon, he said it's pronounced Demon. His last name is Demon. It's D-E-M-O-N-S. Do with that information what you will. They said, why'd you do it? He said, do what? They said, you know what? He said, I don't. They said, damn. They went to his friend. They said, why'd you do it? He said, do what? They said, you know what? He said, I don't. They said, damn. But the police decided to hold him there because they found on him. A month later, they were able to put all the evidence together and they said, okay, we're charging you for your friends. Now, this seems a little weird, right? Keeping someone in jail for a minor charge while you try to gather evidence for a larger charge. Well, this happens all the time in the court system where police toe the line of what's legal and not legal. When they go too far in illegal and they get caught, there's usually a mistrial, meaning the person's free to go. This toes the line a little bit. Let's see if they toe the line further. The court said to the police, well, did you find out why he might have done it? The police said, The court said, okay, did you find the he used? The police said, The courts go, are you guys stupid? The police go, it's hard. The police said, what about all the other stuff we found? The court said, y'all are stupid. Because you see, while all the evidence they found really points to Melly being guilty, people need to hear why and they need to see the weapon. Those are like two bread and butter things for courts. So the police asked for more time to toe the line. They start roughing up Melly in jail, treating him really poorly. So hopefully he'll crack. He's silent. They say Melly was gonna escape, so we need to lock him up for more years. His lawyers are like, that doesn't make sense. We know you guys have nothing. We're waiting for a trial. And at this point, it's been years. They're keeping him in solitary confinement, all that. His lawyer's like, okay, you guys need to let him go. The police said, no, we're still looking. So a judge slides in and says, okay, it's gone too far. It's been years. All right, you got to do a trial. And you know that feeling when you walk into school and you know you didn't do your homework? That must have been how the prosecutors felt. They presented all that evidence I told you in the beginning of the video. The jury's like, oh, Melly did it. Melly's lawyer walks up and says, why? The prosecutors were like, because he's bad. Let me show you some of his songs. Everyone's like, ooh. Melly's lawyer was like, well, jury, do you have any doubts? Is there reasonable doubt? The jury is like, I mean, a little bit. And how the court systems go is if you're gonna send someone to jail for the rest of their life, you have to be sure. On top of that, the police were proven to be so shady during the case that it was not a good look for them. At one point, the lead detective asked one of his colleagues to lie for him while the assistant state attorney was there, because they feel like they're on the same team. We're all trying to get him in jail. Let's just The lead detective asked his colleague to lie because he illegally took Melly's mom's phone and blah, 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 blah. The assistant state attorney shows up to trial and says he lied. The lead detective was like, now, wait a second. You snitching, girl? She said, yes. I thought we was on the same side. She said, I quit because I don't work with liars. And remember when I told you about that line? Well, now they started really tipping over. So the jury is like, ooh, no. It's obvious police don't have anything and they're willing to break the law. So how far have they gone? Have they lied to me about all the other evidence? The jury doesn't know. So they deliberate. 8 people say, I think he did it. 4 people say, I don't think he did. This resulted in a hung jury, meaning they couldn't figure out if he did it or not. The judge says, all right, mistrial. Melly's team goes, yeah. The prosecutor goes, what you cheering for? It's not over. Melly's team goes, let it go. The prosecutors go, no. Redo. So they ask for appeal, basically saying, let's do the trial over again. They want to bring in a bunch of evidence, showing his songs, showing a documentary about him where he says, I love. But in that documentary, he's also with all his best friends and they all look really close. The judge was like to the prosecutor, you guys sound really confused. The prosecutors were like, no, if you look at the end of the video, it says Melly was in the car. And if he was in the car, that means he might have done it. The judge was like, you can't use any of that. So the prosecutors were like, yes, we can. We appeal that too. Melly's lawyer was like, no, we appeal your appeal. So the trial turns into a mess. If you didn't understand anything I said there, don't worry about it. Just know it's chaos. But that works for the prosecutors, the people that want to keep Melly in jail. Because while they figure this chaos out, Melly sits in a jail cell. So Melly's lawyers were like, it's been 5 years. You need to let him go. Or at least start another trial right now. The courts say, we're thinking about it. It takes them 6 months to think about it, and then they decide, we're gonna do another trial for next year. Now, at this point, it's insanely unethical. No matter if you think he did it or not, the court systems rely on innocent until proven guilty. So technically, he's an innocent man that has been in jail for 6 years. That's what Melly's lawyers say, but the judge says, Now, prosecutors know full well that the next trial is going to go the same as the first one. They still don't have any evidence, so they're going to lose. So it seems they just decided to squeeze out as many years as possible while putting Melly under very harsh conditions to kind of get their lick back. If there's something that you need to learn, is that the courts do not like to lose. They will find any way to deliver punishment when they know they're going to lose. It's the same thing that's happening to Young Thug now. Well, not the exact same, but similar. I have a video about it somewhere. And well, that's it. YNW Melly will be released, but only when the courts feel like it.
Damn. I wonder how long they're gonna keep him. Hopefully for less than the next 2 years. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. It's Blasphemous HD Prisms.